Make sure we have this Holy Grail dialed in to make sure that we can really capture this. And so this is new for some of y'all, a little bit of review for some of y'all, but I added new parts here I think which is important for us to really get good at. But this is the biggest point of leverage, and it's going to make your life a lot easier because I can get a lot more return for my time as an agent.
Hey, this is Blake Sloan. I've been selling real estate over 14 years. Our team of highly trained professionals, along with our unmatched marketing, has sold thousands of homes here in the Myrtle Beach area, and this is how we do it.
If you're a new agent, we're going to bring up for you and have you be able to call orphan clients of ours. We have massive people in our database who aren't getting talked to like they should. And so we're going to help bring it up for you guys in that scenario. So the most important part here, right, of this Holy Grail piece, we talked about this. I have a whole teaching we did before. I'll do another one maybe next week. But where we miss a lot and everything comes down, and I've really learned a lot over the past 5 years about this piece of the psychology, is a lot of this comes from and is really built from the overall pre-frame. What do you think I mean there? Why is pre-frame in here? All the referrals come from the pre-frame. Okay.
Because some people might think you're like got all this shit going on, and you're like, oh, I don't want to send in this little $150,000 condo or something. You know, some of those people might go through their mind.
Yes, I must plant the seed of referrals from the very first time we meet them. So plant seeds, I must plant the seeds of referrals the very first time meaning that when we first talk to them, I'm telling them, hey, look, I'm going to do a great job for you, John and Mary, because I'm going to do so well. I want you guys to be so happy with me and my service that you send me all of your friends. In addition to that, anybody you come across, any restaurants, whatever it is, you're going to like me so much, I want you to send me all your friends. That sound fair enough? And what I'm doing there is I'm anchoring in from the very beginning what I need them to do, which is what? Which is send me referrals. I think we're missing this a lot in understanding the sales psychology of this. Is you have to start anchoring this in very early from the very first time you're meeting them. That starts in your presentation. That's why it's partly there's an opportunity there to talk about that in the Expert Advantage Concierge Club that we have. You're going to talk about that and how we're doing that, and that you're going to be there what? Real estate resource for life. I want to be a real estate resource for life in anything and everything you need home related. And I have to plant that seed early on from the very first presentation because I want to layer those seeds in because I'm not sure where they're going to sprout, but I make sure I get plenty of those seeds in there in that scenario. Second piece of the pre-frame is very important, is I have to coach them what to do. You have to coach them. What do you think you got to coach them on? Yes, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Anybody and everybody you come across that says, or even I like to say things that are funny so they remember it. Anybody even smells like real estate. I want you to make sure that you're going to send it to me. But all this coaching happens where? The very beginning, which is the pre-frame. All this is me layering in what I need them to do, and I have to really influence them and say, look, John and Mary, I really need you guys on my team here. I want to be a real estate resource for life. I'm going to help you out, everything you need home related. But I need you to do me a favor too and send me anybody you come across. If you guys, and you have to tell stories about this. If you guys are at the airport and you sit next to somebody on the plane that says real estate, I need you to send them to me. Can you do that for me? Yes. And you need repetition here. I can't say it once or twice to max remember. I have to say it over and over. Why? I must have impressions. There's impressions with advertising so somebody won't notice the billboard until they see it about 20, 30 times and actually remember it. And so advertising and sales is all about impressions. And so I need to have impressions in their brain because there's a lot of noise and I'm programming their brain to help do a certain thing I need them to do, and that takes repetition. How are you coaching your people to be raving fans for you and send you referrals? That's the question you want to ask yourself. How well have I been coaching my clients and past clients? And not just your past clients, because a lot of our business I was looking at in our reports last week is from current clients. Because guess what current clients talk about? Real estate with everybody. They're hot in real estate. You ever heard about the reticular activator? Yep, so if you buy a white Honda Accord, guess what you're going to notice? a white Honda Accord. Me and Kelly go for walks after work, and we take the stroller. And all of a sudden, I was telling her, I'm like, man, you ever notice how many strollers are out here? Like, there's thousands of strollers out here. Is it just me or what? And I started laughing because that's a reticular activator. But what it is everybody's got a stroller, but I'm pushing a stroller, which is why I recognize a stroller. And so your people who are searching for houses, they're talking about real estate. Guess what we're talking about with everyone? Buying a house. And guess what people who are buying a house with them talk about? Well, I'm buying a house too. I'm looking to buy something. You need them to be programmed to send that to you from the time that you meet them, especially when they're your client and before they go under contract. Third part, I must tell stories. What type of stories am I telling? I want a specific story here, though.
Stories about past successful clients.
Doing what? Referring. I'm telling stories here of champions. A champion is somebody who sends you a referral every year. I'm telling stories about how John and Mary bought their house. They loved it. They sent me their neighbor in Del Webb. And then he sent me another neighbor in Del Webb. Right? And then whatever it is, I need to tell the story to them because I'm coaching them and telling stories that are third-party stories where guess what they want to be? They want to be like the person in the story. Especially if they're winners. And so you need to have some stories about your past clients who referred 2 or 3 people or whatever it is. If you're brand new, you want to get that story figured out as soon as possible, meaning get a referral from your next client. You're going to say, hey, John and Mary, I'm here to be a real estate resource for life. I'm going to work my ass off to make sure you guys are happy and make sure we get to the close day successfully because I want to make sure that we're connected for life and I help you. And the only thing I ask for is you guys send me referrals. I must get permission to include them. Get permission to include them. What am I including them in? Be a part of our Lifetime Connection program, our Expert Advantage Concierge Club.
That's where you have to tell the story and then loop them in at the end.
Yes. Hey, John and Mary, I want you guys to be a part of our Lifetime Connection program. I'd like to go ahead and enroll you guys in that, where you get free discounts with our vendors. I'll get the absolute best discounts, anybody you need, from plumbers to electricians. But I'm also going to send you weekly or bi-weekly updates on the home value of your property here in Myrtle Beach so you guys can be in the know, and you'll know more than most realtors do about your home value. So if in chance you have to do sell 5 or 10 years down the road, you're going to be in the know and make sure to do that. So I'm going to send you emails. I need you to make sure that you do not unsubscribe from those emails. Does that sound fair enough? At least I can send them bi-weekly emails so that they can get the value, but that's important. They cannot opt out. You guys have to get their permission to do what? To market to them. You're not going to say market, but I want to include you in our Lifetime Connection program and our Expert Advantage Concierge Club, which is going to allow you guys to get absolute best deals on vendors. You can use our pressure washer, all kind of stuff. All right? Very important piece there. Second piece, which matters, execution. What do you think the execution means? People don't do it. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. It's been the hardest thing for me to do as a business owner to figure this out. I don't know how I can give you guys the roadmap, the way to do it, what to do, what to say, everything on there, and people just don't call it past clients. You can't do it, right? You're not going to be able to extract that $250,000 from that person. Your dream, right, to get to that place where you're at, 100 plus deals coming every January 1st. I can help power it. I can send the emails, the market updates, the value to them, all the pieces to it. All you have to do is make the calls because the calls is what makes everything matter. It's part of the recipe. That's the most important part. We talk about this. They take 2 things that are important, right? Professional relevance and personal relevance. They're not going to send you referrals unless you have the personal relevance piece, which means what? That you care. You got to show you care, and you show you care through doing what? Calling them and checking on them. Hey, John and Mary, how you doing? How's the house going? What's going on with you? How can I help you? What's new? All those things are very, very important for you to understand that piece. Second piece, must be consistent. What does that mean, you think?
You can't go like months or years without.
You got to make sure it's every single month, in my opinion. Things have sped up. He called him, talked to him, 2 or 3 months went by, boom, went with somebody else. Quarterly no longer is an option. You need to call him monthly. Third piece of this. Details matter. This comes down to the hug fields and items you have to be able to talk about, but you need something to lean in. Hey, I'm just checking on you guys, see how you're doing. How's Martha doing? What can I help you guys with? You need any vendors, you need discounts, you need anything I can help you with here on the ground. But more importantly, I'm just doing my job as your value-added real estate expert to check in on you guys, because you know what? Most agents don't even check on their actual clients. If you do that monthly, you think they're going to remember your name? Absolutely. But what's going to happen is, like we talked about yesterday, is that through the law of reciprocity, they feel like they got to now send you referrals. Because no one calls them monthly. That's one thing that I'm surprised about. Even I bought $200,000 Escalades from that Escalade place over there, and no one's called me one time. Third piece of this, must be a machine. What does that mean? Why does it say that? This is what makes or breaks it, because most people aren't a machine. They only do what? They call clients when they feel like it. You know what? I'm bored today. That's not going to work for you. You got to make sure you call the clients the same time every day for every day of the week, if you've been here for a while. If you're brand new, you can call anybody that's an influencer in your sphere. But if you got past clients, you call every day at the same time. You got to be a machine. Why? Because it's got to be a habit. I go to the gym so much in the morning. If I don't go in the morning, guess what happens? I feel like because I didn't go to the gym in the morning. That's why I've been going without having any sleep. Because I still want to make sure I get that feeling of keeping the habit up. And so if you can build the habit, make sure you call past clients, it's your weapon against yourself and your mindset and your feelings, because you're going to call them every day at the same time no matter what. Okay? You must make sure you build out a machine, especially next 3 to 6 months. There's going to be less leads. I can spend double the money. There will not be as much leads out there because why? There's less buyers. And so you got to make sure that you're calling your past clients to really create that and have that connection with them. So use the extra time instead of going home early to do what? Be a machine and call past clients. Very, very important piece there to understand that. Third part down here. Must have. Must maintain and keep a deep connection. What does that mean there? Why is that on there?
It's just surface and how you doing. They're never going to.
Yeah, if it's surface, they know it's surface. Right? You got to make sure you maintain that deep connection with them overall. So you must have that connection with them on a deep, personal level. Now, what helps you do that? Notes. Notes, 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 notes. Because now I can look at the notes and I know, hey, look, they like Clemson. They have a kid named Johnny. Right? They like this sport or this food or that restaurant. Hey, look, have you guys been over to the new Italian restaurant, whatever it is, near your house? If I say something that is intentionally deep down connected to them and they, holy cow, my most friends don't remember that, guess what they think? Wow, this person what? Cared. It's got to be something where that person cared at a very deep level. And so you got to do that by notes and having hug fields. We spent 6 figures plus, multiple 6 figures almost now, in having a CRM system that can help segment that for you. You've got to have this data to be able to have deep personal connections with your people, especially when you're selling 40 plus homes a year, like many of us have, or many people did last year. Okay? Second piece of that, I guess is already connected to that, is must have very specific notes. Some of that can be examples like what we're talking about, who he has back in New York, what he did in New York. Hey, look, how's it going? You still talk to your guys or ladies, whatever it is, from back at the New York State Troopers? Whatever it is. I want to use that stuff to go back and reference what we talked about in the sale, because that brings them back to that place and lets them know I cared, and I cared enough to actually listen to them. In today's world that's so full of noise, guess what most people don't do? Slow down to listen. And they're going to remember that you listen based on the data you tell them what you got going on. Which is very, very, very important. Okay? That's super. So their notes are specific for one reason. For you to be able to call and have content. So anytime you're riding with people or talking to them in the sale, I'm having conversations that's looking to uncover and open content. The content's going to be, I'm thinking chess moves here, right? I'm 3, 4, 5 moves ahead. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say to them on the 1 month call, and I'm going to extract that from them while I'm riding with them, showing them properties. You've got to think that far ahead to be able to extract this and get $250,000 worth from this client. Okay? And I want to extract that to have long term, which is important. Other thing that's important for you to ask, you help on your call, it's very easy. Bridge here. Simple one for you guys to write down. Ask the question, what else is new? So on my call, I'm going to ask questions that can help, and I got some others I'll give you guys in a few minutes, about what else is new that allows you to be able to extract more things to do what? Talk about. I have one goal in this call, is to connect with them really, and then I'm extracting content to use when? The next call next month. Very, very important piece there. Now, the fourth part about connection. Now, what's one of the biggest reasons people don't call their past clients above fear? They forgot to call them for the last 3 to 6 months, and now they're embarrassed to call them. So for you guys to be able to do that, I'm going to give you a tool, which is the apology script. You're going to have to use an apology script for them to help them say, hey, look, I know I haven't called you for a while, but I'm reaching back out because I'm recommitting myself to clients like you who I really like to work with. Super simple, right? There's nothing that a script can't fix really in sales overall. Does that make sense? We call this the initial confession script. You want to confess what? That I screwed up and didn't call you. And once you do that, what's that do? Humanizes you and releases pressure from the conversation, right? So very, very important piece here to understand with that. And so I'm able to do that in that scenario. I'll give you guys a quick script. Hey, is it Steve? Hey, Steve, this is Blake Sloan with Sloan Group. Remember me? I sold you a house a few years ago. And they're going to say what?
I done sold that house.
They might, yeah. And say, hey, no problem, man. If they do, that's okay, right? But they're going to say, hey, I remember you. We never heard from you after we moved in. We figure you must have left real estate or some other type of business you're in now, right? They're going to figure you must have got out of the game. Why is that? They never heard from you, and a lot of people get out of business. And so what are you going to say? Well, Steve, I'm still in real estate. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't stay in touch with you as often as I should have, but I recently sat down and evaluated how I'm going to go forward with my business. I realized I really want to reconnect my past clients like yourself and the people I enjoyed working with. That easy. Say it again for you guys, and we'll come back and have him be able to record it to get it back to you guys. Well, Steve, I'm still in real estate, and I'm embarrassed to say I didn't stay in touch with you as often as I should have. But I recently sat down and evaluated how I'm going forward in my business, and I realized that I really want to reconnect my past clients like yourself, people I enjoyed working with. Super simple. In fact, that's why I'm checking in with you today to tell you about a new preferred client program we have, right? Our Expert Advantage Concierge Club, where you can get discounts, local vendors, all the absolute best home vendors, local restaurants and things where you can also use our pressure washer, anything you ever need around the house. Here's an easy way to transition. You guys ready? I'll write down some of this. But before I get into that, I remember how much I enjoy working with you, so I thought I'd pick up the phone, apologize for being out of touch, and check in to see how you were doing. So tell me, Steve, what's new? What am I doing there? Getting content. And I'm reconnecting with him or her and what's going on. I'll post a screenshot of this in the group for you guys to have, but super, super important. Right? So at that point, you've done what? You've done the confession. You recommitted to them that you want to be what? Their value-added real estate expert, and include them as a part of your Expert Advantage Concierge Club, and keep them updated what's going on in the market, you and obviously whatever else. You get them local discounts with local vendors. Does that make sense? Very, very important to do in that scenario overall. And Steve can say something like, well, I'm going to Las Vegas next week, and what do you have? Content. To call Steve back next week and next month and ask him what? How'd Vegas go? It's so simple, but I need to ask him what's new to get to whatever that is in that scenario. And let's say he says, what's going on in Vegas? Well, I'm going to a poker tournament. Well, that's awesome. So guess what I'm putting in my notes? Likes to play poker. Very important in that scenario. Right? Asking a couple questions, I learned more details about the client I can use in the next one. Looking for things like hobbies, medical issues, spouses' name notes, kids' names notes, food, music, whatever it is. I want to understand what they're going to so I can use that in that scenario, right? That's fantastic. I hope your trip to Vegas is a blast. Can't wait to see how much money you made in the poker tournament, right? Then you transition. I'm really glad we got to reconnect. I'm going to stay in touch with you. Anything you ever need, let me know, real estate related. Now, if it's your initial apology, I'm not going to ask for a referral right then. If you have to apologize. That make sense? I want to do that the second time I call it when? Next month. Okay, because I'm really doing that part. And at that point, I say, look, we have a Lifetime Connection program, our Expert Advantage Concierge Club. I'd like to include you in. Steve, where you get monthly updates from me, videos, and more importantly, you get discounts to local vendors that we have. If you ever need anything around the house, is that okay for me to include you in that? Yes. You want to enroll or include them in that? I need them to know they're going to get something from me here on out. Does that make sense? Why is that? I'm pre-framing him. I'm re-pre-framing him or her in that scenario. Does that make sense to you guys? I'm re-pre-framing in that piece right there, which is super important overall. Ooh, I have cramped up. So, that makes sense for you guys in that piece? All right, so I include them, and then what I need to do after that? My new people yesterday. I want to send a handwritten card to them with my business card in it. Why? Personal, what else? Nobody does it. It's different. Everybody else is lazy and sends a text message or an email. Why is that? Because they're lazy. But you're not going to be lazy because you want to get $250,000 from this client over 20 years. So is it worth sending a $1 postcard? I mean, a $1 thank you card? Absolutely, right? Get some blank ones off Amazon. Just say thank you, whatever it is. And just send that to them with your card in it and say thanks. You want to reiterate something you talked about in the conversation because you anchor that in with that card. What I talked about yesterday, most people who get those type of cards don't even throw them away because they're so rare. And so make sure you guys are doing that. Other thing you want to do is ask them other things about going life. You want to ask what we call trigger questions. Here's one. What's the next big event coming up for you? Ask them what's new. You ask them what's your biggest challenge at the moment. Question I'm looking at. Who, what, when, where, why? Who, what, when, where, why? Those are new things. What's going on? What's new? Any new kids or grandkids? Any grandkids yet? They have kids, right? You want things to talk about to have them on that piece, but don't be scared to go through an apology script. Last piece of this is I must nurture and reward. Nurture and reward. The first thing, the most important for me thing to do right here is I must reward the behavior. What does that mean, you think? Reward the behavior.
Shoot them a gift when you get one.
When I get what?
A referral.
Yes. Not when it closes. Here's what we noticed and have been tracked and studied. If you only reward them when the property closes, they're not going to send you any more referrals. Because they're scared the ones they send you aren't going to close. You have to reward the habit. And so the very minute they send you a referral, what do? You call them, you thank them, and you send them a gift card. Now, if you're smart, you can send them a gift card to what? Their favorite restaurant they told you about that you had in the notes. That's called sizzle. How do you remember I liked Italian, and this is my favorite Italian restaurant. Now, guess what? I give them a $25 or $50 gift card. Is it worth paying $50 to get people to send you referrals? All day, every day. And so that difference there is very important for you guys to do to make sure that you reward the behavior. Does that take a little extra work? Yep, go right to Costco. You can get a gift card to any restaurant you want right there at Costco, or you can go to Office Max and get them a too. Very, very important to reward the behavior, both with a written card. I'll do a phone call. And back when I'm programming people, I want them to program, say, anybody you come across that's looking to buy or sell real estate, if they smell like they're going to buy something, they smell like they even can spell real estate, I want you to have them give me their phone number. Because if they have them call me, what happens usually? They don't call. Very important piece here. So, reward the behavior. Win every time. Do not get greedy here. Do not try to just reward them whenever they send a referral that closes. Because what I've noticed happen, it's happened to me before too, happened to friends of mine, is that they stop sending you referrals because you're not rewarding that behavior. You make a big, big deal about it. Okay? Very important. Second piece is I must play the long game. What that means is I got to keep nurturing for a while, because what happens is I got to warm them up. Especially if they're new here, right? They may not send me a referral for 6 or 8 months, but you know what they may do? Send you 2 or 3 at the same time. Especially older people who may be in groups like, what do you call them? Masons? People like Masons in their church, all this stuff, man. You get somebody who's connected like that, they're going to start sending you everybody, you start getting lined up through the door. But I have to be very strategic and make sure I'm doing that part. Third piece that's very important is I must identify champions. Yeah, whoever's doing multiple deals with me or sends me multiple referrals, I've got to make sure I identify them and treat them as a champion, because I need to reward them as a champion to make sure they keep being a champion. Y'all want to tell them, hey, I'm so thankful for you. You really made a big difference in my business by sending me referrals. It means more than anything just having the trust from you sending your friends and relatives to me, more so than the actual business. But I want you to know how much it means and how much I enjoy working with you and having you as one of my lifetime connection clients. Fourth and last piece is organize my database and use to-dos. I must organize. What does that mean? Can you go up with 2 clicks and pull up your past client list and call them? That's how you got to be. CRM does that for you if it's done right. Just go through, call them, log notes, and set to-dos. I want to set to-do recurring every month. So I do some on Monday, some on Tuesday, some on Wednesday. But if I just add a recurring task to my past client the very minute it closes, for the next 2 years, guess what happens? The chances increase dramatically. I'm going to call them every Tuesday, and it asks you in the CRM. You said, I want to call them on the first Tuesday of every month until 2028. Whatever, I did that yesterday, an example. For 1 year. Right? So, Miss Betty. Miss Betty, right? Bought $430,000 house. Miss Betty knows people. Would you agree? So, people like Miss Betty, I didn't want to make sure I'm calling her once a month, checking in, see how things are going. And I want to do that by setting a recurring activity for me to do so.